What happens when a rising political star known for her razor-sharp wit collides with the world's biggest pop icon in a live TV debate? Sparks fly, jaws drop, and the internet explodes. In a battle that had millions glued to their screens, MAGA's youngest White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, faced off against Taylor Swift in a no-holds-barred showdown. The topic? Women's rights, climate change, and the fight against misinformation. But what unfolded wasn't just a debate. It was a cultural earthquake. One side came armed with hard facts, the other with raw emotion. And by the end, only one walked away victorious. So, who really won? And what does this mean for America's future?
The stage was set for what would become one of the most explosive political debates in recent memory, a clash of ideologies that would leave the nation buzzing for weeks. On one side stood Karoline Leavitt, the 27-year-old White House press secretary.
A rising star in the MAGA movement, known for her unshakable confidence, quick wit, and lethal debating skills honed in the high-stakes arena of Washington politics. On the other side, Taylor Swift, the global music phenomenon who had stepped into the political arena for the first time, armed with her massive fan base, a passion for women's rights and climate action, and the kind of star power that could move millions to action, with a single Instagram post. The tension in the studio was electric. Conservatives in the audience leaned forward eagerly, anticipating Leavitt's surgical dismantling of Swift's arguments, while Swifties clutched their signs tightly, praying their idol's raw emotion and moral conviction would overpower the seasoned politician's cold, hard facts. But what no one expected was just how brutally one-sided this clash would become, exposing the deep cultural divide in America in a way no scripted political drama ever could. From the very first topic, women's rights, Leavitt came prepared, her arguments as meticulously crafted as a legal brief. Swift spoke eloquently about equality, the struggles of young girls searching for role models in a world that still undervalued them, and the need for leaders who respected women rather than diminishing them. Her voice trembled with sincerity as she described meeting single mothers who couldn't afford health care and young girls who felt crushed by societal expectations. But Leavitt didn't just listen. She struck back with the precision of a seasoned prosecutor. "Taylor, I admire your passion," she began, her voice dripping with polite sarcasm that immediately put the audience on notice. "But women don't need songs to prove their strength. We need policies." With that, she dropped a bombshell. Under Trump's administration, women's unemployment had hit record lows before the pandemic, and female labor force participation had soared. The statistics rolled off her tongue effortlessly, each one a hammer blow to Swift's emotional appeals. Swift, caught off guard by the sheer force of Leavitt's data-driven assault, scrambled for a rebuttal but found herself repeating vague platitudes about fighting for all women, rather than countering with hard facts of her own. The audience erupted. Leavitt had drawn first blood, and the scent of it hung heavy in the air. The next round, misinformation, was even more brutal, a masterclass in how to turn an opponent's strength into their greatest weakness. Swift argued passionately that fake news was tearing society apart, urging leaders and influencers alike to be more responsible with their words. She spoke about the dangers of conspiracy theories and how they eroded trust in institutions. But Leavitt, sensing an opening, turned the tables with the skill of a chess grandmaster. "Taylor, you talk about truth," she said, her tone deceptively light. "But have you ever shared something you later had to delete?" The crowd leaned in as she referenced a since-deleted environmental post Swift had once shared that contained inaccuracies. The implication was clear. Even the virtuous Taylor, Swift wasn't immune to spreading misinformation. Swift, flustered for the first time all night, admitted she sometimes made mistakes, but insisted leaders should be held to a higher standard. Leavitt's response was devastating in its simplicity. Correcting mistakes is good. Preventing them is better. The knockout punch had been delivered, and the audience roared their approval, the sound washing over Swift like a tidal wave. By the time climate change rolled around, Swift was visibly struggling, her earlier confidence fraying at the edges. She spoke passionately about wildfires, floods, and the urgent need for action, her voice rising with the kind of moral fervor that had inspired millions of young activists. But Leavitt, cool and collected as ever, dismantled her arguments one by one with the ruthless efficiency of a surgeon. "The Green New Deal you support could raise electricity prices by 30%, she stated, citing studies from the American Energy Institute. "Do you have any data proving it won't hurt working families?" she pressed, her eyes locked onto Swift's. The pop star, again, had no answer, her silence speaking volumes. The audience reaction was immediate and visceral. Conservatives leaped to their feet in triumph, while even some of Swift's fans shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Leavitt wasn't just winning, she was dominating, her command of the facts leaving Swift floundering in her wake. The final round, audience questions, sealed Swift's fate, the last nail in the coffin of her political debut. A young fan, her voice trembling with admiration, asked how pop culture could unite people in such divided times. Swift, grasping for redemption, gave a heartfelt answer about music's power to bring people together across ideological lines, her words laced with the kind of optimism that had made her a generational icon. But Leavitt's response cut through, the sentimentality like a knife. "Unity isn't just a song," she said, her voice firm. "It's jobs, security, and policies that help real Americans put food on the table." The contrast was stark. Swift's soaring idealism versus Leavitt's grounded realism. By the end, even some of Swift's most devoted fans had to admit she'd been outplayed at every turn, her passion no match for Leavitt's precision. As the debate concluded, social media exploded in a firestorm of hot takes and partisan cheering. "Leavitt destroys Swift" trended for hours, memes flooded the internet, and cable news channels scrambled to dissect every moment. Conservatives celebrated Leavitt as the new queen of debate, her performance held up as proof that the MAGA movement could compete intellectually with the left's cultural icons. Liberals, meanwhile, scrambled to defend Swift, praising her courage for stepping onto such a hostile stage, even as they quietly acknowledged her lack of preparation. The media spin was predictable. Breitbart declared Leavitt the undisputed champion, while CNN framed it as a learning experience for Swift. But beyond the noise, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a debate. It was a cultural moment that exposed the deep fault lines in America: emotion versus facts, idealism versus pragmatism, the power of celebrity versus the machinery of politics. So here's the real question, the one that lingered in the air long after the cameras stopped rolling. In a world where politics and pop culture collide with increasing frequency, who do you think holds more power? The star with millions of fans and a platform to move hearts, or the strategist with cold, hard data and the skill to wield it like a weapon? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do we need more Taylors to inspire or more Karolines to execute? And don't forget to subscribe for more explosive debates like this one, where the future of our culture is decided one viral moment at a time.